Hello and welcome to Why I Love, and today I'm going to tell you guys why I love Apple Incorporated. Apple Inc, as some of the kids would say. So Apple is a company I've used for many years now. Each product I've used from Apple has been absolutely fantastic. It always works well, efficiently and cleanly. Although Apple products are very expensive, I believe that they are worth their money, and worth their money 5 times over. And today I'm going to explain why. So the first reason I love Apple is their quality. So longevity. My lady has an Apple MacBook Pro for over 6 years, 7 years, if depending on when she purchased it in 2014, and it still works perfectly. It is faster and less glitchy than the Huawei computer I've only had for a year, which always crashes. Sends me round the bend, I tell you. Additionally, my dad has an iMac which has lasted over 8 years and still works absolutely perfectly. So we can probably say, I've had other iMacs which have lasted 10, 15 years. Let's say the average Mac lasts about 10 years, which doesn't really seem unreasonable to me. So if we are to do some maths, it is actually quite clear that MacBooks are cheaper in the long run based on the above data. So we obviously have to compare it to something. We'll compare it to Windows PCs. So from my experience, a Windows PC never lasts more than 3 years. And it will typically cost around £500, £400 initially. I say £500 initially if you're going to get a decent one. On the other hand, a MacBook can still be good and usable 10 years down the line. Although the MacBook costs more at a price of, let's say, £1,200, the price per year is a lot cheaper, with the Mac costing £120 per year to use, whereas the Windows PC will work out to about £166 per year, given your Windows computer only lasts 3 years. And my Macs always last ages. And obviously, there are cases where, Windows, they still have some great computers. It obviously depends where you get them from. But just from my experience, this is what I don't want to have arguments with people in the comment section saying, my computer's lasted 15 years. Okay, but I'm just saying from my experience, they don't last very long and they always end up crashing and just becoming too annoying to use. So the fact that MacBooks have far greater longevity and are much nicer to use, as well as probably being cheaper in the long run, makes it a more cost-effective option. Reason 2, the Apple ecosystem and layout. The Apple ecosystem is called iOS, pretty sure you already knew that, for its mobile and tablets, and macOS for their personal computers, or Macintosh, I'm not sure. I love the way that all Apple's devices sync up in a harmonious way. For example, when I use my Mac, I can easily access my pictures taken on my phone, check, receive and send messages on iMessages from my laptop, from my phone, from my iPad, from my watch, does not matter, it can be sent. And it's all very simple. All information is easily transmitted between devices in a seamless and effortless manner. This makes it much easier and far more time efficient when using Apple technology, as I'm not messing around constantly transferring one thing to another, having to upload files to Dropbox or plug my phone in. Like if you want to do a large file transfer, you can just use AirDrop on your phone. Super simple. I also love the layout of the Apple design. It is sleek, smooth and simple. It does not take a long time, in my opinion, to get used to Apple technology due to it being laid out in a very simple way. Additionally, if you do stumble when using Apple technology, it does not matter, because Apple is so widely used as a technological product. You can always find tutorial videos on YouTube or tutorial posts on the internet to help you, and I find it is a very user-friendly platform. Generally, like even my mum is useless with technology, and she can use the iPhone perfectly. That's all that needs to be said. The reason 3 I love Apple. As to why I love Apple. Apple do not rush their designs. Apple are never first to come out with the brand new product, are they? For example, they were not the first company to release a touchscreen phone. I remember using an old LG Cookie before getting the first iPhone. However, unlike the original LG Cookie, which was unusable due to its laggy, capacitive display, the iPhone was actually a good mobile phone. That was the first iPhone, the iPhone 2 or iPhone 3. can't remember, but this goes for a lot of things, such as their computers, and so they do not always have the best technology straight away, but when Apple do come to releasing the newer technology, it is always implemented well, apart from the dodgy iPhone 4 connection issues, but they did release a case for everyone to use. You just had to use a case, otherwise the phone would cut out in conversation sometimes, but they haven't made that mistake since. However, compared to other companies like Samsung, who when they released the Galaxy Note 7, which had a battery which would self-ignite and explode, Samsung did, however, recall the phone, which was the Galaxy Note 7, on the 10th of October 2016, so good on them. Luckily, no one died as a result of the Galaxy Note 7. Here, this shows the importance of not rushing designs and taking your time and making sure things are pretty much done right first time. Reason 4, marketing genius. The first part of Apple's marketing genius lies within their actual products. The inescapable ecosystem is a marketing tool in itself almost. It's hard to switch away from Apple to Android just because you become so accustomed to the interface and the way the software works that it seems ludicrous not to buy another Apple product. I've had an Apple iPhone before and then switched to a Galaxy S7 Edge. Don't get me wrong, I like the phone. It had a better screen than my previous phone, which was the iPhone 6, and it had a better screen than the phone I bought after it, which was the iPhone XR. However, just like water inevitably gets evaporated and then falls back down as rain, I inevitably always fall back into the arms of Apple. I even knew when I purchased my Samsung that one day I'd end up getting an Apple phone sometime again. The Samsung I had also often had many annoying glitches and bugs, something I never experienced on my iPhone. I'd always get annoying spammy adverts popping up on my home page on my Galaxy. Don't know why, I probably downloaded something a bit dodgy, but still, even though I click on loads of the same random links on my iPhone, this doesn't really happen. So yeah, it's like when you use Apple, you have, it's the reason it's hard to leave is because I find you get very used to the way it works. You have iMessage, FaceTime, and lots of other Apple goodness. And yes, of course, there are other applications available on other phones, but as an Apple user myself, once you get used to these Apple-only applications, it's hard to leave them as you become accustomed to their convenience and ease of use. Second reason Apple's marketing is good is because they have now layered their products to meet more market segments. They have several phones which hit all types of price levels and class of people. For you rich folk, you have the iPhone 12 Pro Max starting at £1,099 in the UK, the 12 Pro starting at £999, the 12 at £799, the 12 Mini at £699, and for these people who are less well off but want a secure, good phone which will last well and be reasonably high quality, you have the iPhone SE second generation, which only starts from £399. Yes, still expensive, but you're getting all that Apple goodness, aren't you? So this used to be different in the past when Apple would only focus on one product a year. I remember they would just release the iPhone 4. When the iPhone 4 came out, it was just the iPhone 4, and this would have priced out a lot of people, but now they're not pricing out as many people. Additionally, whether it is intentional for Apple's marketing or not, Apple is often seen as a status symbol. When people have an iPhone, it will give someone a false sense of superiority. It's sad, I know, but it's helping Apple cash in, which I think is smart. Reason 5, Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs, as you know, co-founded Apple. Steve Jobs founded Apple on the 1st of April 1976 along with Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne. He left Apple on the 17th of September 1985 and founded a company called Next Inc., which was another computer company. In 1986, Jobs funded the spin-out of the graphics company, later named Pixar, from Lucasfilm's computer graphic. This company was later renamed as Pixar. Jobs then returned to the company, founded Apple in 1996, with Apple also purchasing Jobs' other company Next for $427 million in which the Next deal was finalised in February 1997. Jobs returned due to the purchase of his company Next. And in September 1997, Jobs was named CEO of Apple, replacing the CEO Jim Amelio. So in the 1990s, Apple was struggling due to overpriced, uninspiring products, in which Apple had seen declining revenue growth for several years in the late 1990s, declining 11% in 1996, 28% in 1997, and 16% in 1998. Jobs managed to turn things around from 2002 onwards. with Apple seeing absolutely rapid revenue growth, with revenue growth hitting 68% in 2005, which is crazy when you bear in mind that Apple was not in a good place 5 years before that. So Jobs never gives up. He is unique, he is different. So Jobs create also, when it came to helping Apple, Jobs created a company culture of upper level management involvement in the product design, something which Apple has continued on and is part of its DNA. So the reason Jobs helped Apple a lot, and why we should all love Steve Jobs, is because Jobs provided the focus Apple needed. Apparently Apple at the time was a bureaucratic mess filled with competing managers. Jobs put an end to all the feuds and took an unheard level of interest in the details of the product development. So Jobs created a DNA in the company, Apple, of getting upper management involved in lower management, which helped the company greatly because it made the company work together properly. Reason 6 is Apple security. Apple has security on two fronts. Apple as a company, as well as Apple devices. There have been several notable cases in which Apple has refused to sell out to the FBI on unblocking phones, despite great pressure from the FBI as well as societal pressure, undoubtedly. Most notably in the San Bernardino terrorist attack in California, in which the assailant used an iPhone 5C. It was noted that Apple declined to create the software to open the phone. On the same day, Apple CEO Tim Cook released an online statement opposing the FBI, saying the United States government has demanded that Apple take an unprecedented step which threatens the security of our customers. We oppose this order, which has implications far beyond the legal case at hand. This moment calls for public discussion, and we want our customers and people around the world to understand what is at stake. Yes, maybe they could have helped, and it would have maybe helped something, releasing the details of this phone, but at the end of the day, it's more the, you don't want to start doing this, because once you open up the door to tracking and open up phones, it's not going to stop. So I think Apple just saying no, it's a bit of a shame in the short run, but in the long run, it's a good thing for most people. And RIP to the people in the San Bernardino terrorist attack. Rest in peace. Additionally, I've never had issues with viruses on my phone, unlike when I use my Samsung, which got ridden with spam. Mac OS, like all Unix, UNIX-based systems, is fundamentally more secure than Windows. One reason is that the UNIX system files cannot be executed by default. This simple design choice practically rules out almost all attack vectors for malware, as code cannot be run without the user's consent. So even on a Mac OS, the malware is completely harmless, even if you download it, until the user actually opens and runs the program, then yeah, you can get a virus. But if you never open it, you can't get a virus. And I believe the same can't be said for Windows. Don't quote me on that. That's just what I have read. I'm not 100% sure if that is right, but I have had Windows devices with multiple viruses before, and I've never had in my whole life, and I'm sure can you accustomed to this? Have you ever had a virus on your MacBook?
Never.
Exactly, and I haven't either, and I don't really know anyone who has, but I've known multiple people to have viruses on other devices. Reason 7 is customer services. Apple stores and their customer service is by far the best I have ever seen in the technology industry. I've also used Samsung, very good customer service as well, must be said. Every time I go into one of Apple's stunning looking stores with an issue, the problem is often quickly resolved. I remember my mother once went there with an issue, and with no questions, they took in the phone for inspection. A couple of days later, when she went back into the store, they gave her a brand spanking new phone because the issue was not solvable. I'm not sure if Apple still do this all the time, but it's one real-life example I know of where Apple showed fantastic customer support. And I've used Apple before, and you go into their shop, they have the Genius bar, so if you're confused, you're a bit older, you're not too good with technology, Apple will always, they run sessions to help people. Obviously it's all priced into the product. That's a fact. Nothing's for free in life. But the fact it's there is nice, and you're still getting a great product. It's a bit more expensive, but you're getting that support which a lot of older folk need, because we've been born into technology, but if you didn't use technology for the first 50 years of your life, and then you start using technology is quite tricky. So reason A is, the last reason I'm going to say, is that Apple always take initiative in major design changes. Who was one of the first companies to ditch the headphone jack? One of the first major companies, I should say, to ditch the headphone jack. That was Apple. Which company always ditches its ports as quickly as it can? Apple. Although it may seem annoying at first, it is all for good reason in my opinion, because having less parts in a computer will enable the computer to it's less likely to have breakages, because less components means there's less things to go wrong, so it's less likely to break. Reason B is that it has more space to fit bigger and better components, such as bigger batteries, more RAM, more storage, whatever. Thirdly, it forces technology forward to more efficient and effective solutions. For example, the transition to using wireless headphones as the norm rather than using cabled headphones. So yeah, I think Apple has been an absolutely fantastic company throughout the majority of its history. It's always focused on quality, fantastic devices to use, unique, different. I love them. Thank you for listening. This is Why I Love. And yeah, if you fancy subscribe, thank you.